Welcome back to Homebuyer University. Today's topic is an FHA loan right for you?
Now, FHA is a fantastic loan program, but contrary to popular belief, you don't have to be a first-time homebuyer to actually use an FHA loan. The F and the H don't stand for first-time homebuyer.
FHA loans, like many other loans, have pros and cons. So let's jump into some of the pros about FHA loans.
So there are a lot of pros with FHA loans. Number one, it's a government-backed and regulated loan, which means it's super secure. And there's some big pros that are tailored essentially to you that are consistent with just about every FHA loan. Number one is they have some really good interest rates compared to every other loan program, whether it's government sponsored or not. Number two is it is really flexible on credit guidelines. So if you have a little bit of, credit blips or oopsies, FHA is a great place to plug in and not really get as penalized for it. Number three is it is really flexible on down payment. Unlike other loan programs, FHA has some pretty minimum requirements with their down payment. If it's 1 unit or all the way up to 4 units, it has the lowest and most flexible down payment options of just about any loan out there.
Let's bring it back to number one and let's talk about those interest rates.
FHA loans have fantastic interest rates compared to any sort of Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, or other conventional mortgage loans. They usually incentivize people to get in the door of home ownership, and one of the best ways for them to do that is offering kind of what's a discount on rates. So oftentimes that FHA loan has a much better interest rate than a standard loan does.
Awesome. So let's keep it rolling with credit. Tell me about some of the credit requirements for FHA.
FHA is super flexible on credit compared to just about any other loan program out there. So most loans require that you have a credit score minimum of 620 in order to qualify for a loan. FHA goes down to 580 and in some cases even 550. So if you don't have the most polished credit history, they are a great solution for you. On top of that, they also help out with more flexible guidelines if you've had a bankruptcy compared to other loan programs. So not only do they give great interest rates, but they're also going to be more flexible with your credit profile and a little bit more forgiving. Again, their whole mission is to help with home ownership, even if you've had some adversity in your financial portfolio and profile in the past.
Okay, now for down payment. What are some of the perks or pros in FHA loans and their down payment?
So FHA is solely designed to help people get into home ownership with an easier path. And one of those big obstacles with anybody buying a house right now is around that down payment. So one of the ways that they can help people get into the housing market is by reducing that down payment requirement. FHA, regardless if it's 1, 2, 3, or 4 units, only requires a down payment of 3.5% down. So if you're struggling to bring funds together yourself, FHA is a great potential solution to get your foot in the door. Not only that though, but all of your down payment can come as a gift from a family member. All right, so I gotta talk about all the fun, nice stuff. I gotta talk about the pros, but we should talk about the cons. And for the lesser fun stuff, I'm gonna kick it over to you, man.
The first con to an FHA loan is that it's going to have PMI, which is private mortgage insurance, regardless of how much money you put down on your home. And you want to be intentional about how you're going to remove that PMI in the future because it does have the potential to stay there for the entire life of the loan.
And what is PMI, just as a quick little aside?
PMI is private mortgage insurance, which is an added cost on top of your loan. And here's the kicker, it really doesn't protect you, right? It protects the bank. So your FHA loan could have a higher monthly payment for a longer period of time, which is why you want to be intentional about having a plan of how you're going to get out of your PMI. Con number two is an FHA loan can be a little bit more particular about the condition of the property that you're interested in buying.
100%. Again, FHA's whole entire motive is to help you get into the door of home ownership, but they want to make sure you're protected at the same time. And so they really analyze the property condition more than other loans typically do, because they want to make sure if you're getting in with reduced down payment, maybe a little more flexible credit profile, that home isn't going to go south on you or have some sort of big incurred cost in the future. Now, while this is sounds like it's a pro, it could be a con because sometimes agents aren't as likely to accept an FHA loan because they know they're going to be extra particular and picky about the property you're getting a loan on.
Con number three, FHA loans are a great way to get your foot in the door if you have that reduced down payment. But if you do have a little bit more money, there may be some better options out there for you.
Correct. FHA, again, is a great way to get your foot in the door if you are strapped for that down payment amount. If you do have the luxury of a slightly larger down payment though, there could be a lot of other loan options out there that are far more financially advantageous, not just in the short, but also the long term. All right, so we've talked about the pros and some of the cons. Andrew, give us a rundown in a concise format of why an FHA loan may or may not be right for you.
FHA loans, like we mentioned, are a great way to get your foot in the door, especially if you've got a reduced down payment or some damaged credit history. But on the flip side, if you do have a little bit larger of a down payment, maybe some help from family and a better looking credit profile, there are other loan programs out there that could be more advantageous to you.
100%. And so don't think that just because you're a first-time home buyer, you have to go with an FHA loan. And don't think that if you aren't a first-time home buyer, that you're excluded from FHA loans. So it could be the right fit for you. It's all about analyzing your profile to see what the best fit is for you.